Hello students, welcome to Legacy As Academy. In today's video, we are going to discuss about the recent announcement in the budget where middle class of India has received major relief largely in the form of taxation. So what kind of tax slabs, tax cuts has been made, what kind of new slab has been introduced, and overall who is the middle class in India that we are talking about? Let us try to understand this in more detail. Now presenting the first full budget of the Narendra Modi government 3.0, we can see in the parliament, Union Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman has made several announcements aimed at the middle class. Now declaring major changes in the income tax slab, the most important announcement that has grabbed a lot of eyeball is that up to 12 lakh rupees per annum, that is annual income, a person will not have to pay any kind of tax, that is have zero tax. President Draupadi Murmu also, she has linked the economic progress of the nation with the aspirations of the middle class and the fulfillment of those aspirations. Not only that, even we have recently seen the Prime Minister of India, Narendra Modi, talking about middle class, where he has said that I pray that Ma Lakshmi continues to bless the poor and middle class of our country and continues to shower her blessing. Also, we know that recently Delhi government has announced election, and taking into consideration the 5th February when election is going to be conducted, the Arvind Kejriwal also has said where he has put middle class in the AAP manifesto, that is Aam Aadmi Party's manifesto. Also, he has put forward a series of demands from the central government, including increasing the education and health allocations and also raising the tax exemption limit. And also this becomes important because if you look at the Delhi, which the AAP party largely rules or has earlier we can say ruled, about 67%. Delhi has the largest middle class population among the richest states of India according to the recent estimate. Now when you talk about the budget itself, the major changes I told you is that up to rupees 12 lakh income, there is not going to be any tax applicable. However, those people who are earning more than 12 lakh annual income, for them the tax slab has also been changed. For example, the major changes you can see on the screen, like one example I can give you, that before up to last year, if you have income up to 3 lakh and that tax slab, the income tax was nil, you do not have to pay any tax. But now that ceiling has been increased and now up to 4 lakh there is a nil tax. So similarly, similar kind of changes have been made, where earlier you have the 7 to 10 lakh, 3 lakh of slabs are there, that have continuously been increased to 4 lakh rupees. So overall, due to these changes, even those people who are earning more than 12 lakh, they will see increase, they will see reduction in the overall tax liability for them from the next year. Now, when you're talking about the middle class, now there is no proper or a government-based accurate definition or description of the middle class. So there is no uniform definition, at least we talk about in the context of India. There are many Indian definitions of the middle class, and many of these definitions even clash with the global definitions or the global standard that countries such as US, UK, and other international organization follow. Now, the reason is because there is a sparse availability of household consumption and expenditure data from India, and this is the most important ingredient if you want to classify population in the basis of the classes. However, the basis of classification that is largely used in India to classify middle class is based on various dimensions. For example, one classification is based on the annual income criteria. Second classification is based on the expenditure, that how much a household is consuming per capita basis per year. Third is counting the number of taxpayers in the country, that is largely where the government is getting that idea and picture from. And last, on the basis of education, occupation of the individual. Now, apart from that, also recently a survey has been conducted by the People Research on India's Consumer Economy Prize 2022, and it has given the definition that those household which are having an annual income between rupees 5 lakh to rupees 30 lakh can be classified as a middle income household, and those individual who are having earning between rupees 1.0 lakh to 6.46 lakhs per year can be classified as a middle class individual. Similarly, the National Council of Applied Economic Research, a prestigious organization and institute of India, it has classified a middle class household's income between rupees 2 lakh and rupees 10 lakh per year. On the other hand, if you look at the Nobel laureate Abhijit Banerjee and Esther Duflo, they have given the definition of middle class as those classes which are having a daily per capita expenditure between $2 to $10. In rupees term, it will be somewhere between 170 rupees to around 800 rupees, 900 rupees, or between rupees 58,000 to rupees 2.9 lakh in a year. Now, as far as the government is concerned, we know that the government has classified economically weaker section largely to provide reservation benefits in the educational opportunities, for the educational opportunities or for the job purposes. So there, those households who are earning less than rupees 8 lakh year are classified as economically weaker section. That means from the government point of view, we can simply understand that people must be having an annual income of more than 8 lakh to be classified or categorized as a middle class. Now, the question that comes, that you have such a large population today, India is the most populous nation in the world. How large is the Indian middle class? So, as far as the 2020 and 2021 recent report, India's middle class accounted for roughly 31% of the population, or roughly we can say 43.2 crore individuals that make up about 94,000 household. This is again based on the data that has been received from the price. The middle class population is expected to cross 100 crore by the 2046-2047, accounting for 61% of the population. Again, here we have variation. If you look at the research conducted by Oxford University, as per 2022, they believe that India's middle class number stand at around 46 crores. So not very different from the prices data. Similarly, the Pew Research Institute, again a very prestigious, well-known US-based think tank, it says that India's middle income population, and it has defined middle income population as such household with a daily per capita consumption between $10 to $20. That is somewhere we can say between around 900 to 1800 rupees, fell from 9.9 crore to just 6.6 crore. That means what we have seen is that a downward mobility where the number of middle class people have declined, and that was largely a result of COVID-19 pandemic and its after effect on the economy. So that is another important information that we have received. Now, we have talked about that in this particular budget, the finance minister has focused on giving relief to the middle class. So what is the rationale behind such kind of tax break or tax off? So first of all, the major reason behind this is believed to be the idea where government is trying to build a trust between the government and the honest taxpayers, which is a whooping 1.75 crore in number. Though if we try to understand it from the population perspective, from the GDP growth perspective, this number still is very, very small. Now, in a country which has just over 10 crore taxpayer, the intent to simplify the tax regime, raises the income tax rebate and bridges the tax slabs has been to repose trust in the complying taxpayer. It was necessary to send across a message of not just always taking from them, but also to rewarding them. And that is why largely tax break, it has not been, it has not given, or what you can say, it is not a very we can say recent decision. The discussion and deliberations on this matter has been going on for past 1 year among the government circle, and finally the government has decided to reward the taxpayer. Now, with this trust building exercise, the government hopes to address the fault lines in a slowing economy with stagnant wage growth and middling private investment. So also by giving tax break, government is hoping that they can increase the consumption expenditure, and that will drive the demand, and this drive or this demand will finally lead to further boost to the economy and the growth of industries and all that. Also, government is going to lose a large amount of direct tax revenue as per the government's account because of the changes in the tax structure. From this particular year, government is going to lose at least rupees 1 lakh crore in the tax revenue. So given the revenue foregone on account of the change that has happened here, government has assumed that tax buoyancy will also decrease. For example, we talk about year 24-25, the tax buoyancy was 2. In the earlier year, it was 2.65, and now it is going to be somewhere about 1.42. Now, those of you who do not know what does tax buoyancy mean, it simply means the ratio of the tax growth rate by the GDP growth rate. So the tax collection by the government should grow at the same rate, or we can say the ratio between the tax growth rate and GDP growth rate, that is called as a tax buoyancy. So obviously GDP is growing at a certain number, certain percentage, but because of the tax breaks, what will happen? The tax will not be able to grow at the same rate. So that is why we are seeing a decline in the ratio. Now, this is expected to pick up as the economic growth gains momentum in the coming years, and also these all decisions of the government is largely, can say, follows the overall policy that the Modi government has brought in once they come into power, that is trust first, scrutinize later. That means whatever information, whatever tax is being paid by the honest citizens, government first have to trust them. If there is need arises, then they can scrutinize whether the tax paid was less or whether there is some kind of error or not. Also, economic survey that has been published very recently, the government also has talked about two major themes. One is about trust, again talking between government and the citizens, and second is related to deregulation. So these are all the decisions that has been taken, is also following the policy and overall we can say ideology of the current government. So that is all about this particular video. I hope you got the idea about what is the relief from the tax in the taxation perspective to the middle classes, who are the middle classes, and what is their number in today's India. Thank you.